Call the regular scheduled August council meeting to order. I'm going to start in our normal fashion by welcoming all of our citizens and everyone that's watching via social media. Thank you guys so much for coming out and tuning in to the meeting tonight. We'll start with our opening prayer and our pledge. I ask Councilman Waller if he will lead us in prayer.
Thank you. Bow with me. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Jesus, we just lift you up, ask for your precious presence, your guidance, and your countenance over us as we conduct the business of this wonderful city. Thank you for the privilege of being selected to govern. Let us do it humbly. Let us do it in a way that will respect one another and honor you and be our very best and do our very best for the citizens of Bolivar. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Crawford?
Here.
Mr. Dowden?
Here.
Mr. Joey?
Here.
Mr. Lau?
Here.
Mr. McKinney?
Here.
Ms. Ray? Here. Ms. Spence? Here. Mr. Lott?
Here.
All right, we'll start and approve our minutes from the last council meeting, July 8th meeting. If everyone has had a chance to read those minutes, if there are no corrections or deletions, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On my report, I want to remind you guys to the 19th, next Monday, we'll be having our council retreat at the Biscuitery at 6 p.m. So make sure you guys are aware of that, and the public is welcome to attend. I'll be try to get you guys an agenda. We're more so just having a conversation on projects and upcoming things that we got. Mr. Ronnie Neal is coming to update our new council members and answer any other questions that we may have from MTAS as well. So that's the 19th at 6.
What day of the week is that on?
Monday.
Monday.
All right, and then the people that we want to recognize, we're trying to work on a big presentation next month for Maxwell's Big Star. You guys know that Mr. Jimmy and Doug retired, and Maxwell has now became food giant, and we want to do something real big for them next month to thank them for their many years of service here in the city. So we'll be working on that for our next council meeting. And if you see the screens there, those we're working, putting the voting system in. I think Mick has got the software in. Yeah, he got the software in, and we're working on all that. So our next council meeting, we'll be working with technology and see how we'll get it figured out, I guess. That's all that I have on my report. We'll start with the standing committee reports. Electric. Mr. Elmer Cobb took the oath of office as a new board member. Mr. Ty Lau was elected board chairman, replacing former board member Ms. Helen Johnson. A board approved the fiscal 2019 bad debt write-off of $27,506. This is the lowest bad debt write-off ever. And that concludes the election report. Utilities, Mr. Cliff Henson.
Mayor, Council.
Yeah.
The Bolivar Utility Board met last Wednesday on August the 7th. And some of the items that was discussed, the first one was the purchase of a new mini excavator for the department. This we bought on state contract, so we didn't have to do a bid process. And Kubota was the choice from the board, and also the recommendations from my guys that did the actual demos. It's a little heavier machine than the other one that we're looking at, which was the Bobcat. We got the trailer and the machine and a hydraulic thumb for a price of $63,837.18, which we went over budget about $1,837. But with the heaviness of the machine, we were very pleased to get it at this price. So, Mr. Mayor, I would appreciate a motion for us to purchase this mini excavator from Kubota.
Okay. Any questions on that?
What was the difference in the machine?
Well, the actual tracks on the Bobcat machine was about 6 inches wide, narrower than the Kubota, and metal under the machine was a lot thicker on the Kubota, so it was more of a durable machine. Pretty much, you pay for what you get, and the Kubota was a lot more of a machine for the price, and the guys liked it better. And with the state contract, we decided to go with the Kubota with the board's recommendation.
And it can be serviced locally, is that right, Cliff?
Yeah, that's right. We Anderson Tractor cannot sell the construction equipment. They don't have that ability to do that. So First Choice out of Savannah is the closest one. But Anderson can service the equipment. They can furnish all the parts, filters, oil, and all of that. So they do honor the warranty. So we can get it locally serviced. And that was a big selling point also.
All right, is there a motion to approve the purchase of the Kubota tractor? Mini excavator.
So moved.
I have a motion there, a second.
Second.
Call the roll, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Aye.
Mr. Joy.
Aye.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mr. McKinney.
Aye.
Ms. Ray. Ms. Spinks. Mr. Wallace.
Motion carries.
The next item we was discussing is the odorizer in the Middleton area. Last year, the board approved us to upgrade our odorizer, which is a very important part of our equipment when it comes to the odorization of the gas. Those machines have been in service for quite a while, and we're doing a SCADA system so we can constantly watch what's going out. So I asked the board also to do an upgrade on the Middleton station this year since we did the McNary last year. So they approved that, and also the price of gas is holding steady at 65 cents per 100 cubic foot. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Henson. Next, Fire Chief Galvin. Chief Price had to go to the doctor today. He forgot how old he was. He had a little too much fun.
Something like that. Council. All right, I report that total fire calls for the month of like 27. Type fires, we had 2 structure fires. One was 2 in the city and 2 in the county. And vehicle fires, we had 2, same city and county. 0 on the brush, 0 on the any rescues. Fire alarms, we had 14 in the city, 2 in the county, and others was down to 3. As far as 0 injuries, fire injuries 0. Had 304 hours of training, installed 14 smoke detectors, and inspections was 14 on the inspections. That's all the report, but we'd like to also give a big thanks to Councilman Larry McKinney for helping us on our school supply drive. It was a big success, so we did really well on that, so we'd like to thank you for helping us out on that. And other than that, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Galvin. I have a bid opening here for repairing the floor bays. You guys remember we added that into the budget this year, so. And make sure you can't get in this now. So I need to carry my pocket now.
Yeah, thank you. They turn out real well.
All right. This is from Nizer Floor Company. I guess I'm saying that right. Nizer Floor Company in Belden, Mississippi. Let's see here. Apply one coating, chemical resistant, square feet 3725, bid price $25,125. $25,125. That's from Nizer. I guess that's saying that right. All right. Hills carpet, fill in cracks, level floor, epoxy paint, Bay Area, $10,500. And that's from Hills Carpet.
It's the same thing that the other one just bid on, right?
Yes.
Same specs.
Yeah, they both got the same. They'll both pick up the same specs.
Neither one of them talking about tearing it out and putting it another one up?
Let's say to fill in the cracks and level it.
There's the spots and stuff like in the floor, because
Yeah.
like they had like holes in it. So they fill in all them, then let it all out, take all the epoxy off of it and go back and re-epoxy all of it.
Yeah.
Which one you think? You know, you had
If
an
anybody
experience
wanna
with either one?
proceed.
of them?
They both get. I mean, they both have to get the same specs from that we have over here. So
Yeah. And
They-
these, and that one, the first bid was, how much was it?
25,000 from.
I'm trying to figure out what they doing so much different. If they put more, you know, concrete could come to how thick you got,
Right,
how thick
exactly.
should it be?
Well, see, the thing about it is, they're not with this. It wasn't to like tear the concrete out. It was to repair it,
Uh-huh.
and then come back over with fill in the cracks. Yeah, and then come back over, strip the epoxy that's on it now, and come back and take all that off and then redo it. So it wasn't like they was busting it up and taking it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what
Yeah.
that $14,000-$15,000 more.
Yes.
Cause he
Come
doing
in.
more. He's
Now-
sandblasting, he's actually shooting blast on the
What did we budget? Didn't we have 11,000 or so for this?
It was 20 for both of them, though. I think that's what we did. Wonderful. That was for both the. So I guess it would have been half on the
That's for the inside and the outside.
and the out. That was
Yeah.
for both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the inside was like 7 something like that.
Yeah.
So we still. What about 13,000 or something?
I'll make a motion that we approve Hills Carpet, provided that it meets all the specs there, that we approve the lowest bid.
Okay. And I'll have
Provided that it meets all.
I have Lynn and let them check and make sure that they are bidding, which I know they got the same packet. So I have a motion to accept the bid from Hills Carpet for $10,500 if that meets specs. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, Ms. Clerk.
Mr. Crawford.
Aye.
Felton.
All right.
Joy. Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mr. McKee. Ms. Ray. Ms. Spinks. Mr. Waller.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries here.
Thank you.
Next, Police, Chief Jones.
Eden.
Police report is as follows. Calls for service, as follows. 884 calls for service. We have 234 citations issued. Accidents was a total of 18. One was with injury, the other 17 were property damage. 29 arrests, 5 were juvenile, 24 was adults. We did 6 what we call DUI saturations. That's where extra officers come in for overtime and work the streets. And we had 192 hours of training.
Thank you, Mr. Chief. You want me to present the?
However you want to do it.
I'll let if you guys may recall, Governor Lee proposed when he came in about funding school resource officers throughout the state. That passed through the state legislature. Now it has made it down to the county level, and our county school system did apply to get funding for that, and they have received funding to get officers throughout the school system. And Chief Ross, Mr. Warner Ross, spoke with myself as well as Chief Jones and said that we would be interested in providing resource officers to the school systems here. To the schools here in Bolivar. So we did apply for that, and the county school system has agreed to do that, and they're looking at $35,000 to fund this position. What we need tonight from the council is approval to add this position, and what I'm asking for us to do is add this position and to attach it to the grant. So when that grant, for whatever reason, we hope it doesn't, but for whatever reason, if that grant runs out, then that position would go away. Right now, it's 35,000 for that position, and we would supply the officer. We would be responsible for the training, the uniform, and the health insurance benefits. That would be our match. So there won't be any cash money. There won't be any money on salary end that we would have to match. So
What schools?
right now, we will be doing the elementary school because the county already has the sheriff department already has an officer at the high school, and they have one part-time at the middle school, and I think they're going to make him full-time. Right now, it's going to start with us just doing Bolivar. It's my goal, hopes, and as well as Chief Jones, that we will get all of the Bolivar schools. We don't really know we don't know for sure how the other municipalities are going to be able to handle it or finance it. I don't know. But for whatever reason, we've already spoke with Mr. Ross and Mr. Doyle and let them know that if more funds came available, that we could be in the middle school as well as the high school. We would like to do that. And me and Chief talked about it, and he would like the presence of, if something happens at the school system, if something happens in Bolivar, it's going to have an effect in the community. So we would like to have a presence there in all three of the schools. But that's where we are right now, just at the elementary school.
I'll make that motion, we approve that.
Okay. What is it? Another question?
I'll second it, but I just have a question before we vote.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we have applied for it already and gotten it, or we're asking?
Yeah. Well, no. The county school system has applied. It's going through the county. They have applied and received it. I don't know what the total was. Do you know what? I don't know what the total was through the whole.
Basically, they got enough money. We have 2.5 school resource officers in the county now. They got enough funding to put an officer in every school. So they're letting us go first, but they're gonna give like Whiteville and Milton chances. If they don't want it, then the officers that are in the county schools will move to those schools, and then we'll get the other 2 schools in the city. So the money, they talked to me Friday, money has already come down.
Let me ask Mr. Joy there if he can put in that motion that the position is as long as the county funded for that position. I think that's what the mayor was asking. If he would, with that
Attach it
grant,
to the grant.
attach that to the grant, whereas it goes along with the grant. If he could make that.
Okay, I amend it, a motion to, make sure it's on the county.
As long as the position to be here with
Long
the
as we
money
receive
from
the
the.
grant.
Yeah.
And to the life of the money.
Right.
Basically.
Basically, if you can make that.
Yeah, I make that motion as long as.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Council.
Parks and Rec, Mr. Stack.
Mayor, council.
All right.
On July 8th and 9th, Willie Kemp and Demetrius Beauregard had a youth basketball camp in the city gym, had 90 participants. On July 20th, Ken Griggs and James Berkeley held the first Hardeman County Classic softball games and cookout at City Park. The competition was between the alumni of Bolivar Central and Middleton High Schools. On July 27th, the Lions Club held the co-ed softball tournament at City Park to benefit the Girls Softball League. There were 8 teams that participated. Also, the paperwork has been sent in to the state for the permit to tear down the old boat dock building at Hatchie River Park. Plan to start on August 26th. Also, we're having youth registration for 4 to 10 ages, and that'll be through September 5th. Also, I wanted to recognize the Optimus Club in Danny Cheshire. They donated $1,000 for Parks and Rec, I think for the 3rd year in a row.
Great.
I want to say thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Stack. Next, streets and sanitation. Mr. Eddie Van Wy is coming, and I don't know if you guys heard on Curtis or not, but we've set the date to demolish the boat dock. That's the 26th. Did I say that right? The 26th. So that'll be going down, and we're working on the plans moving forward on getting a new grant started. Getting a new plan started. Go ahead, Mr. Van. I'm sorry.
Afternoon. We painted the lines, the crosswalk back at the elementary school.
and we painted Tiger Falls on Knuckles Road. And bulk pickup was the month of July. We had 121 tons of residential garbage and 320 tons of commercial garbage.
Thank you, Mr. Go,
Mr. Van. It's gonna be a question, but I'm gonna make a statement first. Back in, what was it, last Wednesday when we had that big rainfall?
Yes.
I've been here 13 years, and I never seen the roads look like a creek in the city of Bolivar. Tate, I don't have my glasses. Tate Road, there was on Fairground. These just the roads that I went on there. And since I can't see my other road, Main Street. My question would be there, what are we going to do? Or have you started doing something where that would not occur again? Because like I said, it looked like creeks around Bolivar. I know on the east end of Bolivar. And I want to address what y'all
Not
doing.
anything I can do about it. We got over 3 inches of rain in less than an hour.
Yeah, well, the storm drains are not made to hold. They're not made to hold that much rain at one time.
Well, clean out the ditches or something, because I think most of the ditches probably wasn't.
Main Street is not the city street, that's a state highway.
Okay.
We don't do anything to it.
Right.
And they said that's the first time they've ever had to shut Main Street down there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what about maybe checking the ditches and
Yeah,
making sure
we've
that
been
they are
checking
clean?
ditches and we've been cleaning
You know,
the
okay.
tops off of storm drains and all that.
Okay, make sure we at least do something.
Yeah.
You know, I understand if it don't. But that's the first time, so I don't know why out of 13 years it never happened before. But anyway, if you can just check on the ditches
I will.
and make sure that they are cleaned out, and hopefully that won't occur. You know, thank you.
All right, like,
And I'll have a letter here from Mr. Ross. I was going to read it in my report, but I'll read it referring to the street department or the Hardeman County school systems. On behalf of the Hardeman County Schools, I want to express my appreciation to you and to your entire City of Bolivar team. As we prepared for the 2019-20 school year, your team was engaged and involved in helping support our schools. Special thanks goes to Chief Price and the fire department for the Stuff the Trucks school supply drive, Mr. Vandiver and the street department for their work in developing Tiger Alley, and to Ms. Sarah Rice, who tirelessly promotes school support ideas on social media. I'm sure a host of others from your team was also engaged in helping our school team prepare. Please pass on our appreciation to all. None of this happens without leadership. Your commitment to education in our schools is admirable. I want to assure you that all the efforts of your team are appreciated and noticed. Thanks so much for your continued support of our students, staff, and schools. Respectfully, Mr. Warner Ross, Director of Schools. So I wanted to read that and say good job and kudos to everyone that has participated in helping get ready for back to school. There's no planning commission report.
No.
Next, library, I think Ms. Becky has been out with her father. Same thing, Miss Peggy has been out, but you have the reports there. Those are all routine. Historic zoning commission, there was no report for that neither. Mr. Watkins, you can come on, but I'll open this section up. We didn't add it tonight, but Ms. Ray is also serving on as our Main Street director. Sorry, not as a Main Street director, as our liaison and council representative for Main Street. So I will ask her if there's anything that they would like to report, or would you want to just report next meeting?
Well, we actually had a meeting today. Ken's here. He might be better at
Okay.
addressing that.
Okay. Well, yeah, Ms. Watkins, let's hold on for a second, and you can bring Mr. Griggs to come up. He's our director of Main Street.
Good afternoon. Evening, rather.
Evening.
Yeah, we had a meeting today, and we're about a month in, and we have a really, really great group of people that are working really, really hard to try to bring some spark to downtown. Today we selected our committee members, in which we're getting together to start to work on the Christmas parade, start working on improving the quality of, I guess, the events in downtown. Doing a little cleaning up. We're gonna do that. You want to ask them to do it? We're cleaning up downtown. We want to start to do some pressure washing to help to clean some of the sidewalks and help clean the debris. One thing we want to ask the mayor to help us with is to help to clean up some of the dirt that's in the downtown area, because we want to start there to try to make it more inviting by getting some of the sticks up. We have a lot of dirt. We have a lot of trees, leaves, paper. That's all around downtown the district. So if we could get a handle on that, that'd be great. I think Jerry Watkins mentioned that we have a street sweeper that we could probably use maybe once every week or something, and get a group of volunteers, maybe some city workers to kind of sweep some of the trash from close to the curb so that the street sweepers can get to it. Another thing we want to speak to the council about, particularly addressing for the Christmas parade, we're trying to add more diverse amenities to it. So we want to do some more automotive organizations. So right now, I think we can't have scooters, we can't have motorcycle clubs. So we want to get motorcycle clubs reinstated. We also want to do some horses. So racking horses and things like that, kind of bring that back. I did some interviews with some people. People really kind of miss the horses being there, but they don't want that dirty horse kind of thing going on. You guys grab his horse and get on for the, for the parade. We want to get some of the racking horse organizations. We have a guy down in Hickory Valley, Mr. Jacob Parks, who's probably one of the best horse trainers probably in the country. He has about 50 horses down there that are some worth $100,000. They're just sitting there, beautiful horses. I think some people want to see that involved in it as well. So, but coming up, everybody on the 23rd want to announce this. We're doing something called Bolivar After Work. It's our very first event. It's basically at the Biscuitry, and it's a happy hour and kind of dinner party. So from 4 to 6, we want to get everyone in the community to come out to the Biscuitry. Goose has a $1 off of beverages, and of course we'll go from that into our dinner. We'll be doing that once a month, and Common Ground, we'll be doing some things coming up, and hopefully when Big Jake's open up, we have some things happening over there as well. So what we want to do is just start promoting what we have, and hopefully when we do that, we'll get more businesses looking at us to open up businesses in downtown. So.
Thank you, Mr. Grit.
Appreciate you.
Next, compliance and zoning, Mr. Watkins.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Mr. McKinney made me think of something a while ago. I read something back over in Genesis where it never had rain like that before either, so be careful. Thankfully, we didn't get that far. We didn't get that far. All right. My report, building consultations 10, permits written 6, building inspections 21, plumbing inspections 21, mechanical inspections 21, courtesy notices issued 50. And then, of course, we're going to have the slum and abandoned vehicle hearing tonight following the council meeting, and I got a pretty good lineup for that. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you.
On the DevCo report, we met earlier, and straight from that meeting into this one, basically just discussing trying to do some big things downtown to sort of change, to add a make Bolivar a destination place. So sort of did some brainstorming on that tonight. And of course, the DevCo is still supporting the Music on the Square events as well as the Open Air on the Square events. And the next DevCo meeting will be the second Monday. I don't know the date. The same date as our council meeting next month at 5. So all of DevCo. Starting on the old business, we have the second reading, public hearing of ordinance 19005, an ordinance to amend the Bolivar Municipal Code Title 8, Alcoholic Beverages, Chapter 2, Section 8202. We passed this ordinance on the first reading last month, so we'll have to have a public hearing on it this month. And basically all this is doing is changing it from being the entire council to serve as the beer board to just the mayor and 3 city council members and 1 resident of the city. So is there a motion that we convene from adjourn from executive session and convene to public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're now in the public hearing section of to discuss ordinance 19005. Is there anyone here from the city or citizens that would like to come and address the council regarding ordinance 19005? This will be your opportunity. Seeing no one, is there a motion to reconvene into executive session? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Like I said, this is the second reading. Is there questions, anything on this ordinance? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda will be the appointment of the Beer Board Committee. We elected Ms. Suzanne as the chairman at the last meeting, so myself, along with Ms. Ray, and I would like to ask Mr. Golden as well as Mr. Lau to serve on that Beer Board Committee as well. If they're not opposed with that, would they accept those committee appointments?
When would they meet?
We'll meet as needed, so whenever
Okay.
anybody wants to come,
That's it.
whenever anybody wants to get a beer permit, they will come then. All right, and I'm going to present a resident next month. We've had a couple we've talked to and trying to get to say, so I didn't get a concrete yes from an individual today, so I want to wait to next month to do that. I don't want to put them on without them, saying yes to that. So Mr. Lau, you would accept that rule? Okay, so that will be that committee, and I will have a resident next month to add to that. Next, under starting out on the new business, have the discussion purchasing a new truck and the operations for the sanitation department. What we have here, I'll try to go over this and answer as many questions I can on you. This is something Eddie, we've been, 6 months, a year, I guess, discussing this and working on this, trying to get all this put together. Something that took as long as it did is I was waiting for MTAS to complete their study to give us numbers that I could present to you guys. All right, basically what we have here, we're talking about our sanitation truck. Right now, our garbage truck, we do residential pickup. We have 5 guys that's on that truck. We have a driver and 4 people ride. We have 2 ride on each side. Those guys ride that truck, rain, sleet, snow, shine. I mean, it's sunshine. It don't matter. That truck goes no matter what, unless it's lightning. Me personally, I don't like seeing that. Gratefully, we've had no accidents. Every city that I've talked to and everybody I've talked to about this, they were very surprised, shocked, and commended us that we went this long without having any accidents. But it's dangerous. It's old times, and I would like for us to move forward into something that's a little more up to date with technology. And I think this is the perfect time for us to do it. Right now, we have what we're looking at, and this is the study that MTAS presented to us, the solid waste study. And what I asked them is, if what we were doing, if that was efficient, or should we, do it privately or different things like that. We discussed all of the different options. I spoke with 2 or 3 different private companies about it, and one of the pushbacks that I had with the private companies doing it was they couldn't guarantee the rates that we're doing them as cheap as we're doing it now. We do it $10 a month for all the citizens of Bolivar for residential pickup once a week, and they couldn't really guarantee that they would do that rate if they were to come in. So I looked at seeing what we were doing and compared to us getting a new truck. And it was the 2 latest models they have are what they call a rear loader, which you may have seen. It is just basically it loads in the back and dumps. The guys don't ride, they just ride in the back of it. It's lowered to the ground. The one we got now, Eddie, how high up is that? 5 feet off the ground, so?
The door is, the steps are about 3 high.
Yeah, so that would be that one. And then another model they have, it's called the one-arm bandit, where basically it picks up the can, dumps it, picks up the can, dumps it. Those were the 2 options. Looking at both of those, comparing it to what we're doing now, being most efficient, MTAS recommends us, and I wanted to do that too, but I wanted to have something to present to y'all to back this up, not just my personal opinion. They would recommend that we go to what's called the one-arm bandit. That would cost, these are estimates. What I want from you guys tonight is a approval to put it out to bid to see just what it would be. Truck would be $300,000 to purchase those carts, the 94, is that right, Eddie? 94-gallon carts, 96-gallon rollout carts. It's $149,090. When it comes to a total budgeted amount is $449,000. Right now, we have in the city about the sanitation's fund balance as of June 30th, $941,454.81. So what I would like us to discuss and look at doing would be purchasing this out of our fund balance. That wouldn't put us in a bad spot in the fund balance. We would still have an ample amount of funds there in the event that something was to happen. And mainly one of two goals, a long-term goal is clean up the city where we could have uniform trash cans. Just picking up, we can use clean, just like I said, overtime cleaning up our city with trash and debris. And short term, it would get rid of us with these guys that we got riding on the side of the truck. Now, when it comes to them, right now we have two, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have two temporary guys, we have two temporary guys on the, three temporary guys on the truck, and one of our full-time employees. What I'm proposing doing is not getting rid of any of our city employees, just getting rid of the temp employees that we have, just no longer contracting with them, getting rid of those temp employees, taking that position that we have that's taking that position and taking it and making a full-time street sweeper position where we can have, right now we run the street sweeper, it's hard to say, we run the street sweeper when we have free guys that can do it. We don't when we originally had Mr. Dewey. When he passed, Carl King took his position. Carl used to drive the street sweeper every day. Now he's driving the dump truck every day. I don't know what it's called, so I'm doing that so y'all know what I'm talking about. The dumpster truck. So I would like to see us get that position back full time. Like I said, long-term goal is to clean up our city. Y'all, I hate to talk about it because I love our community, but if you take a minute just to ride around town, look at the streets, it's nasty. And I'm not here to talk about day-to-day guys. They stretch as thin as they can get, and they do what they can do. But some of it, I mean, that's a whole nother meeting, but that's long-term goals. So that's what we'll be looking at, and I hope I presented that where you guys can understand it, and now I entertain any questions to anything.
I just wanted to see if I can understand, summarize it, so the full-time employees would keep their positions, they'd be able to be reassigned to do other work, particularly cleaning up around the community. The fund balance has ample funds, so we would still have a balance of nearly $500,000 left in it after we bought this truck, if we did that.
Right.
Based on what the estimate is, right?
Yes, sir.
What would happen to the existing truck?
We would sell both. Right now we have two trucks. We have one that we run every day and one that's backup. We would sell both of those trucks. They're how old are one of them? We still paying on it, I think. But they stay in and out of the shop all the time. But we would sell both of those trucks. That would go to this cost as well, which potentially lower this. And we would purchase the new truck. And in that contract, we would put in some type of renter's agreement in the event that truck went down. We would ask that they would supply us another one under warranty until we can get ours fixed.
So what you're asking us is approval to put this out for bid and to see what we get.
Right, yeah. I'm asking for approval to put this out for bid. We'll put it out for bid this month. Well, after this meeting here, if we approve this, and then it will come back, but once we get the bids back in, we will come back to you guys next month to purchase it.
We can decide whether or not we want to purchase it.
Well, yeah, right. Well, based on the price for whatever reason. In the meantime, too, I can get Eddie to look at what he thinks that we maybe can get, or you may know now, Eddie, do you know what you think we could get for our old trucks? Or just whatever they get. Okay, I'll work and we may call around and see what those model trucks are going for. They're old and a lot of people not using them. So, but something is better than nothing. Time to pull it around the scale.
Is it going to be in writing that the part-time people will still have a job?
I guess we can. The people that we have now will be full. The ones that we have on the city will be full time. We just won't hire We won't hire, we won't keep the express guys that's coming. We just will end their contract.
I have a question about, if I roll that container up to my driveway and turn it the wrong way, if we've got one driver on that truck, how do we feasibly get that turned to where that dumpster can dump that?
It's gonna take some training and education. It's gonna, so what'll happen, and the truck, it has different ways it can maneuver around with that arm. But something else, and I'm happy you said, made me forget about this. I would also like for us as a council to keep in mind when we do this, it's gonna be a learning experience, and I would ask that we would put ample funds set aside to advertise, to put the word out, newspaper, radio, social media videos, to explain to the citizens what we're doing, because the trash will have to be in the container, and if it's not bagged in the container, they won't pick it up. It only with the man won't be getting out of the truck and picking up the extra can. That won't happen. You have, and a 96-gallon can you can put quite a bit of trash in it. But once you pull that up, it will be there. And in the event that we have some places like people that have group homes, and this is something that is one of my pet peeves. I hate saying they may have 6 30-gallon cans out there. That's all different sizes, shapes, and form, and a dog gets in it and it goes everywhere. So what'll happen if that can is not enough? You can get an additional can that we can add cost to that. So the cost of the first can will be on us. We won't charge the citizen that. But if they would like to get another can or 2 or 3 more cans, then that will be available. But it will take some education to make sure that we educate the citizens on putting the can proper place. And other cities do it, and I don't think our city can't get it either. I think we just will. But it's going to be a transition, and it's going to take some time that we're going to work through, getting it all figured out. But I think, like I said, long term, I think it's going to look a lot better than what
City
we're
gonna furnish the can?
Yes, that's what the where is it? 149. This is what the $149,090 estimate for the $70 a can.
What happened, Mr. Merritt? Oh, I'll let you finish, Mr. Crump. Go ahead.
What happens if, I just have this horror, if you drive around and there's a place in another state, if you're going south, and you go down the road and they've got these bins out there on the side of the road to keep their garbage cans in. How are we going to educate the people that they cannot leave their cans on the street?
Well,
I mean, that's going to have to be in this somewhere, because that would be worse than what we're doing now.
That'll be a compliance and a law enforcement issue. And actually, I didn't know this, but we have in our ordinances now that trash is supposed to be bagged, and they go beyond than what they probably should already, because the trash in our ordinance as it is now, it's supposed to be bagged and put in a certain size container already, and they just been doing it, I guess, out the goodness of our heart, just exceeding that. But that'll be an enforcement deal that when it comes by, like go back to the education, and we see somebody out there with it, we send a
notice,
courtesy notice, and ask them to move and find it, and we'll go through that whole process.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, to answer your question also, Ms. Crawford, because in Nashville, I noticed the trucks, they have that same thing in Nashville. I'm quite sure in metropolitan areas. But when the arm goes out, it stands out just like that. So if it's crooked or something like that, it will be able to catch it. When it squeezes in, it'll straighten it back up. So there wouldn't be no problem if they do put it crooked or whatever, because that is set up it's designed to straighten it up before we pick it up. But the education is what we're gonna have to do. I think we're gonna probably put out brochures, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Letting people know how to do it,
Yeah, we can, once we get to that point, the council agrees to do, we can do social media videos, brochures, letters, to get it going. And honestly, we probably may even have to run both trucks for a minute till we get it figured out. I know me and Eddie will probably have a whole lot of talks, and we'll make it through. Right, Eddie?
If we get this truck, that means you don't, where you had 5, you wouldn't need but 3 or 2?
No, actually, we will only have one person. We'll have one person. So what?
So they
long
would free
term,
up somebody to drive the sweeper?
yeah,
more
we'll
regular?
free up one person to be on the street sweeper.
So they
And
could run
well, I'm
that
saying
whole-
one person, whoever they the trains and puts on the street sweeper, and then we'll have some more people hands on cutting grass, doing stuff like that.
Oh, they still have a job doing something.
Yeah, we won't lose any of our full-time or anybody on our city payroll. And what the reason, how we've gotten to this, and I'll commend Eddie, I've been telling him, just be patient with me, be patient with me. We have had some city employees to leave, go to different jobs. One, I think, just went to the Army, or one went to school. So we've had some, and we haven't filled those positions because I was looking to put this together. So we won't have any city employees that we will lose because of this truck deal. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we allow this to be put out to bid and reconsider what we do based on what we receive from the proposers.
Okay. I have a motion to put this out for bid. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you guys so much for this. Like I said, it's been seemed like a 2-year process. I wanted to present to y'all when I first got elected, and here 2 years later, we finally get it moving. Next, have a policy for the county court square, Warren Street. If you can see there, what this policy basically is, it's just a safety issue. Right now we have multiple events and stuff going on downtown, and there is really no policy. There is no policy in place now on how it would operate and stuff like that. We've been, basically what this does is put it into a policy. The first thing there is what we're already doing. Anybody that have an event on Warren Street, we require that you have a certificate of liability insurance, naming the city of Bolivar additional insured, and it's turned in 3 days prior to the event, and the dates are scheduled through Jerry Watkins, the CEO of DEFCO, the operating officer of DEFCO. And that's the process we've been doing, putting that into policy. This second one will be a new policy, I guess a new rule that we're putting in place. No motorized or mobile vehicles inside the protective areas of Warren Street 30 minutes prior and 30 minutes after the organized event. This is for the safety of pedestrians, people going in and out that Warren Street there. That's what that's for. And we have 30 minutes in here. We discussed this morning with our department head meeting with Chief Jones. We're saying 30 minutes prior to after the event, but if the event is scheduled to end at 10 and it ends at 9, I'm telling him, we're not going to have a stopwatch out there saying, well, it's 30 minutes, you still got to wait here 30 minutes. Our goal is for safety of pedestrians, and I think we all be able to handle that with some common sense on that end of it. And the responsibility of the organizer to keep the metal posts and barriers up at all times, and that's again safety issue. When we have people out there on the street, we don't want a tragic event like has happened in some other cities, municipalities to happen here, where we have someone riding through there and potentially hurting someone. And of course, as always, organizers are responsible for the cleanup of the square. Any questions on that? Is there a motion that we approve? I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anybody on the community development? We don't have anybody on the community development. Is immediately following this, if you're here for the slum hearing, we will be meeting back here in the back. And well, do y'all want to just start here? We got so many. We'll adjourn and we'll just go into the slum hearing from there. Okay. So is there a motion to adjourn the council meeting? Have a motion, a second. Favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.